Just think, if they have all this money for Argentina and all this money for other things, they have enough money to keep funding SNAP. And they know it.
Ah, yes, Chuck Schumer. Democrats all have all this money for crack and hookers and, the cocaine. They love a good party, don't they? But they don't have enough for 42 million people. They're going to starve to death, the Democrats. One of the things we've learned is that they don't care about people. They care about power. Well, very happy Thursday to you, and welcome back. I don't know if you could tell, but Michael Piercy and I were down the hall, and we completely lost track of the time. And Michael in the studio, then a different Michael, stuck his head out in the hallway and yelled, "Hey, the radio show's starting." We said, oh, yeah, that's right. We looked at the clock. Hey, look at that. Ran down the hall. But here we are. We're not gonna let you down. We're not gonna punk out. We know how to do this. The clock thing got a little confusing for us today. Again, a very good and happy Thursday to you, and welcome back once again. We have a lot going on because, boy, there was a lot going on yesterday. We had, I've got to say, and it's not like this is no excuse like why I lost track of the clock a minute ago, but watching the World Series baseball last night, and that was a lot of fun. And at the same time, pretty much, and they did overlap very significantly, the Turning Point USA event at the University of Mississippi at Ole Miss, Oxford, Mississippi, where my best girl and I have been a number of times. We have a niece that went to Ole Miss and a nephew that went to Ole Miss, both from the same family. And we were down there for various events and graduations and more. A lot of fun. But the event last night was really quite remarkable. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, but Erica Kirk, who took the stage first before the Vice President of the United States, and she is dazzling and remarkable and sturdy, and she was amazing, and the crowd absolutely amazing at Ole Miss. Make you proud to be an American. It's not exactly Columbia University in New York by any stretch of the imagination. They weren't firebombing Jews or chanting "Save Hamas" or anything mentally ill like that. But she was amazing. And then the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, took the stage. And let me tell you something. He was just unbelievable. He took the podium and said, they wrote a speech for me, but I'm not going to read the speech from the teleprompter, the script. I'm just gonna talk to you. And then he spoke. I didn't put a clock on it like this morning, but I didn't put a clock on it. But he spoke for quite some time, off the cuff and from topic to topic, and covered the waterfront. And he was wow. He dazzled the crowd, and the crowd was 14,000 people or something. And the crowd, it was gigantic, 12,000 or 14,000 people in the crowd. Incredibly well-behaved and nice, all-American, squeaky clean, nice-looking. They all showered, so you could tell they weren't Democrats, and remarkable stuff. And then J.D. Vance, I'm going to take questions from the audience. And I don't know for how long, an hour or something, he took questions from the audience. The questions were amazing. The students asking the questions were just great. And J.D. Vance was unbelievable. It was I use the term tour de force, which I don't use every day, when he wrapped up last night. And, I got to say, I was wowed. And my best girl and I, at the end of it, said, well, of course, nothing will happen and nothing should happen. But if President Trump should decide to step down, we're in good hands. He's got a great backup quarterback there, and J.D. Vance. And he was, and I'm sure most people didn't watch it last night, but boy, it was really something for a whole bunch of reasons, because of the Turning Point USA crowd that they gather, because of the American people who gathered at Ole Miss for this event. It was just, man, it was inspirational. I don't use that word inspirational very often, but last night, inspirational. And Ole Miss if I had kids and they were looking to go to college, I'd say you should look at Ole Miss because this was man, it was just amazing last night. And the vice president was dazzling. A young woman from India, India, the empire. She got up and not only asked a question, but engaged in a back and forth with the vice president of the United States. And I was watching this, and it was kind of going on. And she was great. She's very smart and pretty and well-spoken. And she was wonderful, asking her questions. And he finally said, well, I'm going to try to get through all 9 of your questions in the 12 minutes that I have remaining. But she was great, and it was such a great American moment because here's this immigrant woman from India, presumably going to college at Ole Miss, who is invited to a Turning Point USA event or goes to a Turning Point USA event on campus and has an opportunity to ask a question of the actual vice president of the United States of America. And not only did she ask a question of the vice president, it was one of the most American moments I've seen in politics in decades because the young woman had a long list of questions she wanted to ask. And the vice president couldn't have been more accommodating and more pleasant, and they're doing jokes. He was doing a lot of jokes last night. Got a lot of laughs because the crowd is there to have a good time and to laugh and to be pro-civilization, pro-America. It was wonderful stuff. But this Indian woman, I assume she'll be on cable television somewhere today because she was so remarkable, and the exchange was so all-American. It was just so American to have this young woman, presumably a student, definitely an immigrant, I believe from India, and the back and forth with the vice president with this giant crowd of 14,000 people or whatever it was, and the back and forth was just an all-American moment in American politics. It was a beautiful thing. You can probably find it on Al Gore's amazing internet. In fact, if you look for her, you can find but she was like, I don't know, 15 minutes herself, something like that. It was remarkable. And then there was the World Series baseball game, Game 5, where the first pitch of the game in Los Angeles, California, first pitch of the game, Toronto got a home run. Not the first batter. Well, it was the first batter, of course, but the first pitch of the game, home run, boom, out of here. That was kind of a wow moment. And then the second batter, the Toronto getting the home run, of course. And then the second batter also got a home run. Like, what is going on here? Crazy. And then Toronto, which is not even America, the Blue Jays, they were victorious once again. I went into this World Series kind of bored with the whole concept, except for, Ohtani, but he's fun. And the World Series has been, again, I went in kind of, ho-hum, not feeling strongly one way or another. But it's been an amazing series. 2 more games to go. No game tonight. The Game 6 tomorrow night in Toronto, which is in Canada. It's not even the United States of America. Isn't that amazing? But that was great stuff. And watched the game last night, and so that's what he did. Also, my best girl last night made what was it? It was a pasta and lobster. What do you call it? Maybe she'll text me and tell me what it's called. It's real good. With a lobster cream sauce, that was real good. And green beans, they were real good. But in fact, so many green beans, I'm like, wow, we having guests coming over? We had like an army helmet full of steamed green beans. And I said, well, that's a lot. And she's like, I'm not having any. I said, well, no human being has ever eaten that many green beans in the history of humankind. And then I ate every green bean and the pasta and the lobster. That's it. That's all I got. That's pretty tedious. Yeah, but it was nice. I had fun. It was a good night for me. I hope you had a good night too, because it's wonderful. And we've got a lot for you today. The Democrats continue to shut down the government because they hate poor people and they want to starve poor people to death, even if they're morbidly obese. Have you seen the numbers on the number of people that are on SNAP that are suffering from obesity? It's kind of, we're buying free food and everything like that. The number of people that are on SNAP, the supplemental nutritional, all that stuff. The percentage of people that are on SNAP that are obese is almost comical. almost comical. But if you're on SNAP and you're obese, that's not good for your health. That's not good. But that's kind of a fun thing. And let me get to the politics because the Democrats shut the government down and they continue to vote again and more than a dozen times now to shut the government down. And the news media keeps saying, why are the Republicans shutting the government down when every Republican except Rand Paul are voting to reopen the government time and time again? Our media, the most disreputable and the most corrupt institution in America, the American news media, we've got that, and they just keep voting to shut the government down, knowing that the liars at CNN and the liars at NBC fake news and the liars at the Washington Post and the liars at the New York Times are going to continue to lie because that's what they do for a living. It's what they get paid for. They buy Mercedes-Benz automobiles because they're such good liars. They're good liars. They should. One of them should write a book about an autobiography called The Good Liar because that's pretty amazing stuff. Like Good Trouble. We got that. So, man, oh man. Now, irate GOP leader erupts on Democrats in Senate speech. That's Senator John Thune. Quote, "These are real people's lives." He was yelling, the Republicans yelling at him. The networks, they didn't carry that because they only carry Chuck Schumer. And we opened with a Chuck Schumer, the Lizard King, soundbite lying to everybody about everything, which is what he does because he's a human lizard. I'm sorry I called him human. He is the Lizard King, though. Isn't that amazing? And Chuck Schumer, on the other hand, is out there lying. And Chuck Schumer says, they're using these people as hostages. And he's talking about the Republicans who have voted to reopen the government 13 times now. 13 times voted to keep the government open. The Democrats have voted 13 times to shut the government down because they're, and do we have a montage of them saying that it's the leverage? We played yesterday 3 elected Democrats in Washington, D.C., Senate and House, saying that they've got leverage by shutting the government down, and they're the ones holding the country hostage. And Chuck Schumer, the communist that he is projecting again. They're using these people as hostages, he says, as he's using tens of millions of people as hostages. He's creepy. He should be wearing a ski mask when he goes to the Senate floor. The guy is not there. These guys are going to be carrying AK-47s soon enough. They're not on our side. And this was my favorite headline of the day yesterday. I was going back and forth with my friend Brian yesterday, and great headline. The headline is, Democrats vow to starve as many food stamp recipients as it takes to get free health care for illegal immigrants. And I was like, wow, the New York Times is suddenly telling the truth. What happened there? That's amazing. Democrats vow to starve as many food stamp recipients as possible as it takes to get free health care for illegal immigrants. And we went back and forth. They're like, wow, man, the New York Times, something happening there. Oh, wait a minute, never mind. That's the Babylon Bee. Turns out it's the Babylon Bee, a satirical newspaper, and a funny one at that. They're funny people at the Babylon Bee. And the Babylon Bee writing, Democrats have taken a bold stand by vowing to starve as many food stamp recipients as it takes to get free health care for illegal immigrants. According to prominent Democratic leaders, starving a couple of million kids is a small price to pay to ensure that blue states continue to provide free health care to illegal immigrants. So that's really is what the Democrats are doing. That's who they are. They're so far from being on our side. President Trump meeting with Xi Jinping, Ricochet Rabbit. And lots going on there. The news media trying to undermine the United States because of Trump derangement syndrome. But I'll update you on that. The president speaking to everybody. And the Chinese communist leader not speaking to anybody because he's a communist. If he talked to you, he might have to kill your whole family and then send the bill for the bullets to your house. Because when they shoot you, they charge you for the bullet in China. That's what they do. Speaking of communists, the New York City mayor, the future mayor of New York, great stuff. His mother said he's not an American at all. And that's one of the things the Democrats like about him, That's and his father, Mamdani's father, comparing Abraham Lincoln to Adolf Hitler, and that Hitler learned everything from America and Americans, and the Democrats can't wait to vote for him. Gavin Newsom was nothing but a poor black child. We've got him coming up. And in Illinois, the violent mob is out there, and then a crooked Obama judge really screwing things up. We've got that going. Boy, we've got so much stuff. And we're at 888-630-9625. We're in hour number 1. I've got so much news in front of me today. And then more is going to happen while we're on the air. Lots more is going to happen while we're on the air. Let's go to the telephones, Michael. We have Jeff Wolf on the telephones today. Let's go to the great Neil calling from Brooklyn, New York. Neil, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, good morning, Chris.
Hey, Neil.
Good morning to your audience. Listen, Chris, I was not so enamored of the vice president's performance in that Q&A section. The speech was just fine, but in the Q&A, he let the premise go without a scintilla of challenge that Israel was getting hundreds of billions of dollars from the United States. It's a magnitude of like 10 less than that. And he also let one obviously axe-grinding student put these words in Charlie's mouth to the effect that Israel is committing a genocide, which is a complete lie.
Yeah, I made note of that.
I think he did a ton of damage to the Jewish voter movement towards the GOP last night.
Really?
He did nothing to push back on this cancer growing inside the conservative movement. And I know you know it's there, Chris. The Candace Owenses, the Nick Fuenteses, and even Tucker Carlson have all come out as rather out of the closet, virulent anti-Semites. He didn't mention Israel as our ally. He didn't reaffirm that they are on the side of Western civilization. When he spoke of Christianity, not once did he include Judaism as a precursor to Christianity. So, yeah, I'm a little bit upset.
Wow, okay. Well, listen, I respect your opinion. You're a very smart guy, and Neil and I have spoken a number of times over the years, and we were eating dinner at the same time, too. I might have missed a thing or two, but I did start answering that one out loud myself when I heard the question being asked. I didn't hear him say hundreds of billions, but I trust you on that. I believe you. Hundreds of billions. And I started answering the question out loud myself, to tell you the truth. Well, we went and grabbed the transcript of the back and forth last night that Neil was talking about. And as I said, I know, I don't think we've ever met in person, but I know Neil. We've spoken over the years, and very smart and knowledgeable and honorable person. And the question that he's referring to, I actually recall hearing, and I also recall that I started to answer the question myself. And the more I think about it, I think I said to my best girl, I would say this. I don't think I said he should say, but I did say I would say this. But the back and forth was very good, and maybe he didn't say everything I would have said. It's true. You're up there, you're fielding all questions from all comers, but you should be ready. The question, Michael Piercy went and grabbed the question from the Magic Machine, and the question at last night's Ole Miss gathering, where the Vice President of the United States stood there and took questions from all comers, and it really was wide open, and it was a remarkable all-American event in myriad ways. It was quite remarkable, but this was the question that Neil was talking about.
I'm a Christian man, and I'm just confused why that there's this notion that we might have owe Israel something, or that they're our greatest ally, or that we have to support this multi-$100 billion foreign aid package to Israel to cover this, to quote Charlie Kirk, ethnic cleansing in Gaza. I'm just confused why this idea has come around, considering the fact that not only does their religion not agree with ours, but also openly supports the prosecution of ours.
Yeah, so let me...
Now that is quite a question, a charged question, no doubt about it. And I do recall last night I started answering it myself. That they're our greatest ally. Well, certainly in that region of the world, they're the greatest ally of civilization. And Neil made that point. He didn't talk about Western civilization and the defenders of civilization itself. And I definitely would have built that into my response, like we owe Israel something. And then he did talk about the hundreds of billions of dollars, which is a wild exaggeration and simply not true. And talked about Charlie Kirk calling what Israel was doing ethnic cleansing. I said, really? Charlie Kirk say that? And I didn't study everything that Charlie Kirk ever said in his life, but I would be surprised if he did ever say that. And I personally, I would have pushed back a little bit, no doubt about it. And yeah, and what is the hundreds of billions, which is not true. And I think the guy came back up the mic because there was a lot of back and forth, and vice president started answering, and then the guy or the woman would come back to the microphone, and there would be more back and forth. It was quite an episode, and certainly in a circumstance like we were watching last night, it's tough to go. Just kind of out of the blue into wherever the random person in the audience may take you. And I can't really, Neil, I appreciate you calling. I really do. And I'll probably even look at it more later. But I can't go down every question, because the nice Indian woman who went on and on about a whole lot of things too, that went on forever and ever. And I just can't get into every one of them. But I take your point, Neil, and you know that I respect your opinion and so on. So I'm going to keep my ear to the ground on that. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And we have a lot going on other than last night's Ole Miss event. And as I said, Oxford, Mississippi, my best girl and I have been there several times for graduations and things. And Oxford, Mississippi is a lot of fun. It's a great college town, and it's an old town. And, I'm a Yankee and everything. But I got to say I had a great time every time I've been to Ole Miss and every time I've been to Oxford, Mississippi, where you will find Ole Miss. Isn't that amazing? Now, with so much to get to today, we should start getting to some of the other things that we'd like to get to. The Democrats still fighting against federal law enforcement like they're a jihad. They're anti-law and order. They're pro-anarchy and chaos. And in fact, we have some the Democratic Socialists of America, the DSA. You got to abbreviate everything. And the Democratic Socialists of America, they're communists, and they're not bright, but they're bloodlusty, angry, bitter, violent. The Democratic Socialists, they're running Zohran Mamdani for mayor of New York City, and he hates America and capitalism, and talk about hating Jews. He's a jihadi, and the Democrats are running him. They'd like to run him for president, I'm sure, but right now they're running him for mayor of New York City, our most populous city and the epicenter of finance on planet Earth and beyond. But there are some new items. The Democratic Socialists of America, a video has emerged, and I haven't even looked through the cut sheet here, Michael, to see whether those cuts are in there. But they are they? Yeah. I broke it up into 3 pieces, but it's not in the sheet. Oh, okay. 3 pieces. We have it in 3 pieces. And this is, I think it was actually my best girl that sent me this one early this morning, long before the sun came up, on the Democratic Socialists of America, and a video that they produced where they lay out who they are and what they believe in. And what they believe in is, this is a kind of a fun item from Canary Mission. Mamdani's hostile takeover. Leaked video reveals Mamdani and the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America, real agenda. And a couple of headlines, quote, "We hate the Democratic Party." They hate the Democratic Party because they're way to the left of the Democrat Party. Reminds me of Lawrence O'Donnell on MSDNC saying, I'm not a mere liberal, I'm a socialist, right? And he's very proud of it, and they all clapped at MSDNC because they've made it trendy to be a genocidal lunatic. They're the left, after all.
Unlike you, I am not a progressive. I am not a liberal who's so afraid of the word that I had to change my name to progressive.
I'm not either.
Liberals amuse me. I am a socialist. I live to the extreme left.
Great.
The extreme left of you mere liberals, okay?
Then anchorman at MS-13 DNC, Lawrence O'Donnell, not a mere liberal, a socialist. And what this video of the Mamdani gang, and by the way, it's the Bernie Sanders gang and the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez gang, they have these jihadis in Minnesota that are Democratic Socialists of America. They're socialist, and socialist is a buzzword that means communist. The difference between socialism and communism is 5 years, as one of the things. And as Vladimir Lenin said, the Bolshevik revolutionary, the goal of socialism is communism, and communism is slavery with the bullwhip, and you own nothing, and the state owns your food supply and your medical care and everything else. And those are things that the Democrat Party is fighting for here. But the leaked video, the headlines are, we hate the Democratic Party and we need to orient ourselves toward insurrection. Insurrection. They love that insurrection thing. And they've captured the party. They're seizing New York City and now have their sights on destroying America. So here is the video that was put out, the Democratic Socialists of America, and what they're really all about in 3 parts.
It's no secret that the Democratic Socialists of America hate the Democratic Party.
I think we're all on the same page that we hate the Democratic Party.
The Democratic Party is not really our friend. It isn't.
So why are the DSA such major players in the Democratic Party? This odd relationship can be understood with the cuckoo analogy.
Cuckoo?
In nature, the cuckoo survives by trickery.
It's a bird.
It lays its egg in another bird's nest.
What?
The unsuspecting parents raise the imposter as their own until the cuckoo grows strong enough to push the true chicks out. The DSA is the cuckoo inside the Democratic Party.
DSA is not the Democratic Party.
We must separate ourselves from the toxic Democratic Party.
We must separate ourselves from the toxic Democratic Party. We are not the Democratic Party. Boy, are we not. And I got to tell you, like, there's this actor named Mandy Patinkin. You know him? He's a Mandy Patinkin. He's been in a lot of good stuff, actually, and he's a perfectly good actor, but he's an actor. He plays dress-up and make-believe for a living. And the tweet from yesterday, famed Jewish actor Mandy Patinkin and his wife, actress Catherine Grody, that no one remembers from anything, appeared with Mamdani, right, in a Go TV video. And that's just amazing. Said, we're going to win, Mandy Patinkin says. We're going to win this because we have this extraordinary human being who's going to lead our city. And if he gets the chance, he'll kill you, Mandy Patinkin, and use you as a mulch to scatter your bits in the lawn of Central Park to make it better. Isn't that amazing? But the Democrat Socialists of America, they're not Democrats. They're not with the Democrats. They're here to destroy the world.
DSA candidates run as Democrats in safe blue districts. They slip through low turnout primaries. And once inside, they use the Democratic label as camouflage while advancing an extremist anti-American agenda far beyond the party's mainstream.
I don't agree with the Democratic Party, but it's a great tool.
The Democratic is a tool that we use.
Once in office, DSA candidates take orders from DSA's internal enforcers and working groups. City halls and state houses start running as socialist machines controlled by the organization, not the Democratic Party, and certainly not voters.
They have to have a connection with DSA's internal politics, and they have to be committed to the eventual goal of building a separate entity from the Democrats.
Ah, yes. And then what does that separate entity intend to do? Aren't these people? This is, we had a great caller, immigrant to the United States yesterday, who chastised me a little bit for calling them leftists or the left, and said they are communists. They are socialists, and you should call them communists and call them socialists. And these are the Democratic Socialists of America. That's Zohran Mamdani. That's AOC. She's too stupid to know what's going on around her. Bernie Sanders, not too stupid to know what's going on around her. honeymooned in the USSR and the Soviet Union. He's a complete communist. He calls it, I'm a democratic socialist. I have food stuck in my teeth.
DSA are revolutionaries, and the Democrats are their first victims. And in city after city, DSA victories prove their plan works.
I think that the model that we used in New York is 100% replicatable.
And just like the cuckoo, once the DSA grows strong, it pushes the true Democrats out, hollowing the party from within.
Building towards political independence and tearing apart the Democratic Party.
The DSA is not here to strengthen the Democratic Party. It is here to consume it.
Yeah, tearing apart the Democratic Party. We are not Democrats. They don't respect Democrats. They're using the Democrats as a vehicle to seize greater American power in the United States. And, I think it's already worked, basically. Look, AOC has Chuck Schumer on the run. AOC is a nobody in the House of Representatives. She's got a decent caboose, so the news media wants to date her, at least the straight ones do, which narrows it down considerably. But never minding that. These people, I got to tell you, these are the commies, and they've got Mamdani winning. He's mopping the floor with Cuomo and certainly Curtis Sliwa.
The most important thing that we can do is take that empire down from within.
Ultimately to overthrow our own empire.
We need a movement that can drive a stake to the heart of the empire.
We need to orient ourselves towards insurrection.
We need to orient ourselves toward insurrection. They're here to overthrow. They're the commies. They're the hard left. They're the international left. They're here to destroy America and capitalism. And they are in the mainstream of the Democrat Party. And the news media treats them as though they're just, of course, I was going to say Barack Obama. Barack Obama was the one who got the ball rolling on all this commie stuff. Honestly, these people. The Democratic Socialists, and they got Mandy Patinkin out there, who's Jewish and very Jewish, and he's standing there with Zoran Mamdani, who would kill his whole family for a nickel. And we're going to win this because we have this extraordinary human being who's going to lead our city, said the actor Mandy Patinkin. The left is just dumb, and Mandy Patinkin is just dumb. He's ignorant. This is what liberals call open-mindedness. They think this is open-mindedness. All right, let's grab a quick phone call, Michael. Let's go to the great Jason. Jason is calling in from Kensington, Maryland. Jason, you are on the Chris Plant Show.
G'day, Chris. How you going? Yeah, well, like you said, that when Democrats think, they weaken the nation. The problem with the Democrats is, all they got to do. I mean, the majority of the party's got to corral around these communists and get rid of them because what they get, these people keep voting for them. My father always told me, if there's someone you don't like, you don't vote for them regardless of what party it is. But the problem is that with the media and also these people just keep voting for them, and this is what they end up with. They end up with people like Mamdani, Newsom, AOC, Bernie Sanders. So the party is just getting weaker by the day. So now you see this fracturing of like you said, the DSA. Like actually here in Montgomery County, Mark Elrich used to belong to a group called the DSS, the Democratic Socialist Society, which was out of Tacoma Park. And I mean, he's a proud socialist, and that's the thing is like these voters just blindly just keep voting D instead of keeping their party strong and normal. They just keep voting D, and if the day comes where they actually turn on them and vote the other way, they would actually get a decent candidate.
Well, potentially, I suppose, at least. But I wouldn't even bank on that. I gotta see that to believe it. But you see, Governor Cuomo wants to be Mayor Cuomo, won't be Mayor Cuomo. Is talking about what did he say? Where they got a civil war going on. The Democrat Party has a civil war going on, which should be bothersome because they created the first American Civil War. And you mentioned Gavin Newsom. We've got Gavin Newsom updates, too. And this guy, I got to tell you, such a TV show, such posers, such street hookers, the Democrat Party. Yeah, and he is expecting to be president, Gavin Newsom. And the Democrat Party is expecting him to become president as well. Jason, good to hear your voice. Since we're talking about the radicalization of what used to be known as the Democratic Party, Note that the Democratic Party isn't. The Democratic Party is Cardi B, though. It is. I want to share some Cardi B with you. No sailor has ever sworn as much as Cardi B. And what do you hear about this woman? She's worth more than $100 million, and she couldn't put a sentence together to save her life. Amazing. What a country. All right, let's go to Cuomo. Governor Cuomo running for mayor of New York City. He's not, I don't know what he's not. He's not a Democrat. He's not a liberal. He's not something.
The truth is there's a quiet civil war going on in the Democratic Party right now.
Civil war?
You have an extreme left, radical left. Bernie Sanders, AOC, Mamdani is just the banner carrier for that movement, versus the mainstream moderate Democrats.
Yeah,
they now call me moderate. They used to call me liberal.
Show me one.
Now I'm a moderate because the whole party shifted.
The whole party shifted so far left, and there's a civil war going on. You know, they're going to fire on Fort Sumter. I keep talking about it. They are the party of war and violence and assassination.
That's what this election is about. It is that civil war. I believe that far left will destroy the Democratic Party. I believe it will destroy the Democratic Party nationwide if that far left becomes dominant.
And they have become dominant, and they are dominant. And these people are not bright people. They're not sharp people. They don't follow the news. They're not well informed. They don't know much about history, don't know much biology, you know. So I just slipped into song lyrics there. But the far left will destroy the Democratic Party. The goal is to destroy the country. And they're going to do that by taking over the Democratic Party. And capitalism, too. Got to destroy capitalism. And it's your party, pal, and your father's party, and your brother's party, your whole stinking criminal enterprise family, your whole Democratic Party, so-called. They're here to destroy.